Francais and Guilherme lingered in their table, sorting out the details of Catherine's further education. Emilie Baride wandered about the crowd searching for familiar faces. She had arrived halfway through Catherine's performance just in time to gush at her little sister's applause. Unfortunately, she couldn't find her father in the crowd. When she finally caught sight of the back of his head, she approached him hastily. "Father, there you are. I've been looking all over for you." Emily stopped. Emily stopped and she saw the man her father was talking to. It was none other but the Marquis himself. She fixed her half self-consciously and curtsied. "My lord, pardon my intrusion, I didn't realize." Guilherme smiled at her kindly. "You are free to intrude any time, my lady." Emily smiled back. Just as the rumor said, the Marquis was easy on the eyes. "To whom do I owe the pleasure of your acquaintance?" "This is my eldest daughter, Emilie. Pardon me for not introducing her sooner." Charmed, Guilherme offered her a seat. Emilie sat down across the men. "Well, it seems talent is good looks. Oh my god, I can't fucking read. Well, it seems talent and good looks run in the family." Francis rubbed his neck. "Yes, my daughters are my pride and joy. Thankfully, they both took after their mother." "Surely not, Monsieur Parade. Their eyes are yours, earnest and loving eyes." Emilie snorted at such sappy words. Her father was clearly basked in the compliments. Is this really what the famous Guilherme the rumors talk about? Then he wasn't really exactly much of a charmer, was he? She didn't know what all the fuss was about. The ladies in the house she worked for couldn't not seem to stop talking about this man. Admittedly, there was something morbidly curious about the way he looked at people. Like he was always distracted and could only say words that were expected of him. "I'm pleased to have finally met you, sire. I've heard a lot about you on my travels. All good things, I hope. Depends on the tabloid and the day of the week." Emily thought of herself and chuckled. "You are a governess, I was told. Where do you work?" "With the Dimitri household, sire." "Ah yes, I heard you were marrying into the family soon." "Oh, father, I told you not to tell anybody yet." "I didn't, but you know how people talk. Word travels fast." "Pardon the comment then, my lady. Please. You're betrothed and a lucky man, I'm sure." The conversation endured through the afternoon. I wish the text wasn't in fucking white. Small talk, musical composures, their little town. Catherine musical playground. Francois students, Emily work. Emily played with her napkin, offering droll opinions on the practically droll topics. Oh my god, I can't read what it says! And although they exchanged, Emily observed the infamous Marquis de Gaulle. This was him? The audience, shameless flirt of the royal court in tabloids? According to rumors, he was able to bed both the widowed Countess of Demolshire and her daughter at the same time, and even had the 2-minute reaction ship with the Prince of Garment. He didn't limit himself to royalty, or so the tabloids said. His latest fling was with an English poet, who they say almost killed him when he was caught with an armed man. Or woman. At this point, who knew what was a real and what was blatant lie made up by the newspapers? She had looked forward to meeting him. And here he was, finally, talking about sampling the new bakery's cream brulee. She couldn't say she was disappointed exactly, but the Marquis was a depressingly normal man. Maybe even boring, Emily ventured. She watched as his gaze flickered across her hair and her nose before lazily trailing away. How infuriating. She wondered if he knew if he would suddenly say something coy, or insist to dance with her. Just something outrageous. Honestly, so she could shoot him down. This man whom everyone was interested in. That would be a small victory for a reasonable woman everywhere. But the Marquis was nothing but polite. He did not ogle. He did not touch unnecessarily. No audacious gestures or suggestive winks of the eye. He would not even look at her for more than 2 seconds. Maybe she was not pretty enough to flirt with? Emily bit her lip. She shouldn't be thinking that. But there were also times that he would quietly look into her eyes when the conversation moved. When the words spoken were without meaning, their eyes would converse further. To Emily, he started to look lonely underneath the facade of caprice. He seemed tired of all the gallivanting, the rumors and the rumors things. We're all a little lonely, aren't we? Perhaps even he? He invited the family over to his chateau and commented on how empty the building felt sometimes. Music was his guilty pleasure. It got him through the cold nights, he said with a sad grin. How he wouldn't mind a warm soul to touch. And before she could stop herself, Emily had begun to imagine his lips on her cheek, on her neck, sorry. I'm allergic to stupid things like this. Oh. One of those cold nights. Emily shook her head, trying to erase the thoughts in her mind. They were having a perfectly mundane conversation. She didn't know where those thoughts came from. Fortunately, whatever, her father didn't seem to notice. Music and loneliness struck a nerve of the Français Paris. He had immersed himself in the music tutoring his students and Catherine ever since his wife had gotten sick. It had been 6 years, but sometimes the nights were cold. For Français, the Marquis was speaking to his soul. He was a kinder spirit. He wasn't a pompous showboat like all the other royal Catherine had played for. The Marquis even had a wine collection he wanted to show Français. Such a down-to-earth, generous young man. Emily, your father's flushed. Are you alright? Your face is flushed, not your father's flushed. I'm fine, just the sun, probably. This was not true, of course. The afternoon sun had already lost most of its heat. Thankfully, Catherine provided a distraction. She ran towards their little hundle and flung her arms around her father's torso, chattering happily about gardens and butterflies. A young, rapt girl followed behind her. Emily wasn't sure how old the girl was. Her dirty blonde hair hid her left side of her face. She could just see a faint traces of scar peeking through. A source of motherly affection caught hold of her heart. Hello there, young lady. The girl looked down at her toes, but she gave her a shy smile. I see you made a crown of flowers. You look very pretty. Thank you, madame. Catherine gave it to me. Sister, this is Rosa. She's really nice. She knows the name of all the flowers in Sir Gilly's garden. Catherine, there you are again with your silly names. Sister, help me convince Papa to let Rosa stay with us. Catherine? Papa, please let her stay with us. She doesn't have anywhere to go. Now, Catherine, that is not very nice. Rosa here is a girl. She's not a kitten you can just pluck from the street and take home, like you always do with stray animals. Goodness knows we have all the stray cats from France living in our house. Yes, I know she's not a kitten. I know she's a girl. But shouldn't we take her home even more so? He sighed. Guillaume chuckled under his breath. He was clearly enjoying his exchange. Your daughter has some very unique views, Sir Paris. Well, Sir Gilly, what do you think? Huh? Guillaume's face lost his casual bystander look. You're a Marquis. I'm sure my father would follow your orders, right? Shouldn't we take Rosa home? Guillaume's brows furrowed and being put on the spot so suddenly. He stole a glance at Français, who was slightly pleading him with his eyes not to humor the child. He cleared his throat. Well, I'm sure it's up to your father since he owns the house. He will have to clothe and feed Rosa, you see. Yes, but I've got all that figured out. Ever since sister moved to work, nobody minds the house anymore. And I have to wash the dishes every time. Ugh. Papa's so busy, we always have enough food for the two of us. If Rosa stays, then I wouldn't have to be lonely on my own. She'll wear sister's old clothes and will mind the house when both sister and father are away.